You can always tell what's the really hot topic at the EASD simply by the number of people that are packed into both the lecture theatres and indeed, as you can see, out here in the corridors, and there's also an overspill theatre. So what's the big attraction? This is the outcome of the Harmony trial.
I think it was a really good presentation, amazing data, because it was just, people were just exposed for just over 1.5 years to the drugs. And I didn't expect this outcome, so that was quite a nice surprise, and well, that's the most important thing, I think.
Fantastic results, of course, and always with a new product and new. I think it's good to hear such good results, of course. Very interested to start using the product one day.
This means for practicing diabetologists.
I think the difficulty is that when a study is positive, but then you know that the molecule may not be available to clinicians like myself to use, that although the study is positive, which is a good thing, that detracts from it slightly because you know that's possibly not a molecule that you're ever going to be able to use, so that's difficult.
So it's good to see that a lot of drug working, but there are some question marks on that, and let's see where the GSK will take the drug, because drug is out of the market, so the results are, it's seeing the drug is not available, so don't know yet.
I'm with David Matthews, who's the chair of the Clinical Affairs Committee, and David was the commentator on this major session on outcomes of Harmony's trial. David, just give us a top line on what Harmony found and your thoughts.
Well, so Harmony is a cardiovascular outcome trial, so it used the usual events of heart attack, death from cardiovascular disease, stroke, and so on, in a properly randomized controlled trial. And this showed a really excellent effect with a hazard ratio that was clear of unity. So we're very sure that both in terms of non-inferiority and indeed superiority, that albiglutide on a once-weekly basis is preventing major outcomes. The additional piece of information is that this was particularly related to myocardial infarction, and there's indicative data about that which suggests that, again, that's a significant finding. And I think that we would believe that. Oddly, albiglutide didn't change people's weight, and the glycemic changes were not as big as you might see with other GLP-1 agonists. So why would there be those differences? And the answer probably relates to the fact that albiglutide isn't a really big molecule compared with, say, semaglutide, and may not even go through your blood-brain barrier. So, interesting data. GSK are not going to be marketing this for a bit, but maybe somebody else would pick it up. And certainly whatever else happens, we'll have a lot of new data about thinking about how GLP-1 works in man, and whether indeed they've got a GLP-1 agonist here that would work metabolically, as it were, down in your abdomen, but not alter your food intake, which might mean that then you could give it to thin people and so on. So there are lots of interesting questions.
Thank you very much indeed. And of course you can have that whole session on easd.org.